Good morning and welcome to Wellspring. My name is Judy Bethman and I am part of your Sunday celebration team. I want to welcome you to our virtual hybrid Sunday service for January 24th, 2021. Join us for our Song of Joy.
Just a second. All right. Okay, here we go. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Thank you. And now, let us read our vision, mission, and affirmation. Our vision: to elevate spiritual consciousness in our world. Our mission: to support individual spiritual quests through celebration, study, counsel, loving fellowship, and service. Our affirmation: I commit to and practice loving myself. I release any need or desire to control situations. I interact with others from a place of love and peace. I open my heart to accept the love that surrounds me. All right. Today's invocation. This morning, as we breathe deeply and relax into the oneness that is all there is, we acknowledge and affirm that there is the only one that supports and vitalizes everything there is. This same energy flows through, in, and around everything, our community, this service, and each of us. We are tapped into and part of all the joy, peace, love, creativity, and strength of the one that is all. We give continuous great thanks for this fact and for this understanding as we go about our day. And so it is. Okay, today's reading is by Ia B. Casa, and he wrote this in 2011. Life is so precious. It is so precious that there is nothing so little or insignificant of it. When we say life is so precious, it means life is valuable. It has value that cannot be compared to anything. It has greater worth and it should be cared and lived to the fullest. However, it can be wasted too easily too. When I say it can be wasted, I am not talking about tragedy, death, or anything like that, but I'm talking about a talent that has not been used, potential that has not been discovered, opportunities which has been ignored, dreams which have not been attained, and so on. As Norman Vincent Peale said it once, quote, "Love every day. Each one is so short and they are so few," end quote. When you understand your very existence is so valuable and cannot be compared to anything, then you will understand the value of each day and you start to live your life with purpose, start appreciating, being happy and fully alive in the moment. Don't live your life with regret. Each day is an opportunity to live your life to its fullest, no matter what. Embrace each day with arms wide open. Yes, sometimes it may be hard to accept everything that each day brings. At that moment, take a different approach about your life. Is there anything you cannot do about it? If you can make yourself available to learn something, there is always something you can potentially learn, even in the midst of a troubling situation. I did that. I chose to accept and learn. I chose to take whatever that it takes, and God provided me with his grace as I was passing through. God is always able to provide stability for his people, even in the midst of exceedingly unstable environments. Yes, in the midst of pain, suffering, or depression, we feel our lives are hanging by a thread. We tend to give up so easily. We dare to forget God's promise and faithfulness. Allow me to share with you what is really going on in that moment. God is digging a tunnel through which we can be reborn, brought to the surface, and set free. Don't put God in a box. Don't limit the power of God in your life. Anytime you mix your own interpretation of reality with God's ability, there is always something wrong. When we caught with our, quote, infertile imaginations, end quote, speculations and doubts, impossible is one of God's favorite words. As a matter of fact, our God specializes in doing the impossible. He is El Shaddai. Spirit is undeniable, unlimited, and unmatched power. So when things are not working and you feel like the world is on your shoulder, remember Spirit is doing something extraordinary and is about to reveal something. All you have to do in that moment is to remain tough and stay focused. Put your trust in God, who specializes in doing the impossible. Take each day in stride and remember life is so precious and each day is a blessing. In all seriousness, each day is a blessing no matter where you live. Take advantage of every moment. Be mindful of every activity you do and live life like you want to each and every day. God bless you all. And so it is. Okay, and now we have our first musical performance.
I really liked that reading, and this next song actually goes really well with it about taking advantage of every day. This is I Hope You Dance. I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. You get your fill to eat, but always have that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. May you love never leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might mean taking chances, but they're worth taking. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth making. Don't let some hell-bent heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. Hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, dance. I hope you 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 dance.
Wow, thank you very much. That really, it was beautiful. Okay. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you a man who needs no introduction and who helps us with the continuing spirit. That is we who are part of Wellspring. I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Edward Burlbaw.
Well, good morning, and thank all of you who've already contributed such fantastically to this service. I guess I'll say what I was going to say today, although you all have done a fantastic job already. So thank you again, and Judy, thank you for the reading. I have a little story to tell about the reading, at least my side of the story. Friday, Judy and I were talking. She says, what's your topic going to be? I need to find a reading for it. So she approached me with a reading, and I says, well, I like the reading, but it's not quite, what I was thinking about doing, or it didn't quite fit in, or what have you. And so a little later on, I walked into the office here Friday morning, and she had a book out. I was kind of a little rude, I think. I said, well, where'd you get that book? Why do you have that book? And she's like, well, I thought I'd just go out to the bookstore and I would pick up a book and see if I could find a quote from it. And I said, she was kind of put off by me, but but Judy has never wanted to express herself, so she didn't say anything. And she was like, I said, well, the reason I asked that, and I was very curious, is because the book was by Howard Thurman, and there were a couple of quotes that I had chosen for today's message from Howard Thurman. And the reason I bring that up is to add some levity, of course, but also, to me, it's so joyous when I see Spirit working out in this community. Now, our musicians picked a fantastic song based on what I was planning on talking about with a very short synopsis. It fit in perfectly, and you know that as well now. I just think that I see these operations of Spirit in our community, and I think each of us probably sees how Spirit works in our life too. We see these moments of synchronicity that they just happen. And I want us all to, at that moment, have a sense of joy and gratitude that Spirit is working in our life, and that we recognize that. Just pat yourself on the back or whatever, or do a little dance or something when you see that happening in your life. So we know that whatever we're grateful for, we get more of, right? So that's a prelude. 2 weeks ago, I spoke on New Year's, sorta, I think I called it. And today I think I'll continue on in a similar vein. And it is how you intend to live your life this year. And it starts with the premise, or the title of my talk is, Life is Too Precious to Waste. To me, that means your life is too precious to waste, but likewise, you are too precious to waste. It can also mean that every day is too precious to waste. So I say to us, every day take a step closer to discovering who you really are, that being who you are. And thank you, Shirley. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, it's often said. So I'm going to say the universe is an efficient system, and nothing is wasted, Everything in the universe, every experience is always used for greater unfolding, greater love, greater peace, greater joy. All those quantities we attribute to God. Someone once asked me, they said, well, I feel like, or I think I've accomplished all that I came to do. I've resolved all my karma. Why am I still here? Now, the obvious answer would have been, well, you still have work to do. That's why you're here. But I thought that might seem a little too negative given the sincerity of the questioner. So I thought I got to find another answer. They're expecting me to be wise here. And I said, maybe you're here because you still have gifts to give. So suppose the real reason we incarnated wasn't because we had karma to work off, but because we were here to bring joy to the world. Actually, probably it's both reasons. We came, we had something to learn, and we had something to teach. So if your purpose for life seems to elude you, there are a number of books that might help enlighten you. However, you have the key inside yourself. So just listen closely. And we talked about feedback a couple weeks ago. When you feel happy, you're probably doing something that you were meant to do. When you feel otherwise, maybe you need to examine that. So no matter what, you have a purpose that was instilled in you before birth, and you are working it or expressing it every day of your life. I think sometimes most of us wish we could see it a little more clearly. But no matter what, the universe is waiting for your input before it can move forward. Ponder that for a moment. Your input. Every one of us makes a difference in the world. So what is precious about life then? And that's not exactly the same as why am I still here, though. So let's get intellectual for a moment and let's say, let's go to the dictionary. What is precious? It says of great value or valuable, highly cherished, priceless, dear, or beloved. So let's work our way back to this by starting with what is life and who or what we are. And so we have the initial assumption in New Thought, and maybe other religions have that as well, that spirit is all there is. And if we look at the little section in every Science of Mind magazine and elsewhere, it's at what do we believe or what we believe. And the first paragraph says we believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. And the second paragraph, we believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in us, and that all people are incarnations of the one Spirit. This kind of sounds like the first two steps in the affirmative prayer, doesn't it? Well, probably is. If we go, and I've done this before, I know, we go back to Genesis, I guess it started out, there was Spirit. And the first day light was created, and then the sky and the dry land and the seas and the plants and the trees and the sun and the moon and the creatures that live in the sea and that fly. And then the sixth day, animals, and finally human was created. That's not the important part so much as what was all of this created from. And I've talked about this before as well. It was, what were the raw materials? And we had energy. Energy was transformed into material things, but everything came from the same source. Everything came from Spirit or God. So no wonder Anna said in the book, Mr. God, this is Anna, said God didn't make no junk. Okay? So this is why we're so special and beloved as well. Would God have created a substandard creation? No. Occasionally, people say, if God is all these things, why did God even create us? And I think we've heard Reverend Bonnie from time to time, maybe it started with her. She says, God created us to give God a good time. Or maybe to increase experiences or extend love, as the Course in Miracles says. So in a couple of steps, I ended up reading this, and I thought I'd bring it today and read it. And it's called The Grand Scheme, and it's from the book of Tao. It says, Tao or God was thinking aloud. I've been bored lately. Being all that is of course wonderful, but I feel it's time for a new game. I feel totally creative today, and I'm in the mood for something quite unusual. Wouldn't it be interesting and fun to play hide and seek with myself? I'll pretend that a part of me, part of myself, has forgotten that it is a part of me. The game will be for that part to remember that it is truly part of me. I'll create some mazes and diversions to make the journey a real adventure. Aha! I'll fragment this part of me into billions of parts and let them interact with one another. I'll concoct some fancy distractions and paradoxes so they'll never know. That'll keep them, or me, busy for a long time trying to sort it all out. I'll leave them clues and little signs along the way to keep them on the trail if they get too far off course. Naturally, there will be an underlying structure to the game to give it a semblance of awesome order. I'll even arrange for the parts to have free choice so that we can really get into trouble. But that will make winning even more delicious. Well, let's get started. I think that answers part of the question as to why. Holmes says, God's will is always toward life and more life. The life within you is God. Whatever is true of God is true of your life, since your life and the life of God are not two, but one. So again, I say we are God's beloved. We are the delight of God. It is because Spirit yearns to share itself with us, express itself through us, experience through us, that it has placed its essence in us. So let's kind of examine the flip side of life is too precious to waste. And why or how do we waste life? I think Judy's reading talked a little bit about that. But here's some ways that I've listed, and I have 5 of them. First of all, one way is that we limit ourselves. We settle for less than our real selves, and that's selves with a capital S. Maybe because of conformity, rationalization, or just an attitude of self-limitation. That's just the way I am. It isn't the way you are, and if you think it is, then it is the way it will be for you. You know, as the old expression, as a human thinketh. A second way I came up with is we don't think we are valuable. Perhaps we've been indoctrinated from an early age and that we don't count for much. Any number of expressions may have caused this, and maybe they were well-intentioned, or maybe that's what Dr. Spock was teaching when our parents were learning parenting. Share your toys. Don't be selfish. You know, some of these are good, but if we take them the wrong way, we end up putting ourselves second or third. Number 3, we have fear. Fear of failure. We failed once, and that made us hesitant to try again. Kind of Eeyore, you know. Oh my. So for whatever reason, some past experience shattered our self-confidence. But don't forget, there is no such thing as failure, and you can't fail. Number 4, we have fear of criticism. I don't know if any of us have that, but you know, I think I looked it up somewhere. So who do you think you are? Have you ever heard that expression? Maybe from your parents. How about what makes you think you can do that? Be spiritual. Be loving. Why are you so happy? And what right do you have to be so happy when there are hundreds of others who don't have shoes? Okay. And I guess maybe a last one is from the Bible, something about we hide our light under a bushel basket. So be bold in who you were created to be in the world. So what to do different this year? So find your gift and how to contribute. And we come to my first quote from Howard Thurman. It says, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go out and do it. Because what the world needs is people who are alive." How about make a difference by volunteering? Did you know that last Monday was National Day of Service? It's held every year on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And I know it was last Monday, but you can always make next Monday a day of service, or maybe every Monday you could make a day of service. So if you don't think you're valuable or have a contribution to make, just try it and see what a difference it makes to help someone. A difference both to them and to yourself. How about performing random acts of kindness? Now recently, several members of our community received some unexpected income as a result of someone else's random act of kindness. And we talked about that in Early Birds. Interesting. What happened, it brought up for some of those this idea that they shouldn't receive, that somehow they weren't worthy of receiving. Or maybe they just have difficulty in receiving. So maybe that's something you have difficulty with. But just remember that receiving and giving are two aspects of the one flow. So if you have trouble receiving, just practice more giving. Pay it forward. It kind of fits in with random acts of kindness. And I can't tell you what to do or how to do this exactly, but perhaps buy coffee for the person behind you in the coffee line. It's real easy to do in the drive-thru because they've already placed their order typically, and you know how much it's going to be. And if it's a big order, you could always say no, but I doubt you'd do that. You might find you get a thrill from doing it and being totally anonymous about it, because they don't know till you're already gone that you did it. So here's one. Turn your complaints around. And I'll explain this a little further, but refrain your complaints first of all, into ought tos, and then turn that around into an affirmation. So what do I mean by this? Here's a good, I hate it when people just throw their trash out in the parking lot. No judgment there, of course. But let's put it in the ought to phrase. People ought to put their trash in trash cans. Okay? Now, that allows us to turn it around and turn it into an affirmation. People everywhere are putting their trash in the appropriate containers. When you see someone's trash out there, if you feel like picking it up, that would probably be helpful. But just create that affirmation. Pretty soon, you don't have to be the one to embarrass those people, because they're going to feel the energy of people everywhere are putting their trash in the appropriate containers. So practice catching yourself with these, if we want to call them judgmental statements, and then turn it into an affirmation. Have fun with it. So here's another quote by Howard Thurman. He says, "Look, I don't want to wax philosophic, but I will say that if you're alive, you've got to flap your arms and legs. You've got to jump around a lot. For life is the very opposite of death, and therefore you must at least think noisy and colorfully, or you're not alive." I see some chuckles in the audience here. And another quote by Howard, "However many ways there may be of being alive, it is certain that there are vastly more ways of being dead, or rather not alive." So, be alive. So as I said at the beginning, life is too precious, but you are too precious to waste. You are too precious to waste. That part of spirit that each of you, each of us is too precious. So make every moment count. And this year, promise yourself that you will live life to the fullest. Be courageous. Be your own hero. Hold fast to your dreams. Every day, do something which serves to bring your vision into manifestation. If you're doing something that helps you feel alive, your station will be broadcasting strong and clear. Others will notice, and others will be attracted to you. So every day is an opportunity to express positive vibrations and extend those to everyone around you and to the world. Just don't forget, everything is possible in God, who is the keeper of the field of infinite potentiality. And so it is. So let's just take a moment now and have a prayer. I'm sure our next song will be another prayer. But as we always start out, we are so grateful that we are here. And we know that Spirit and God is everywhere around us. Everything we see and touch and feel and hear is a manifestation of that one infinite being, that universe plus, that universe that loves each and every one of us, holds every one of us dear, holds the best of intentions and thought and support for every one of us. And we are a piece and a part of that being. There is one here. There is only one here. We are part of that being. We are as drops of water in the ocean. We are of that being. We are made from that being. We contribute to that being. And so we know that there are friends and family members, and members of our immediate community and the broader community that perhaps right now don't see that they are part of this. They don't see the goodness in everything that they're experiencing. But we know for them, that Spirit is still supporting that situation. Within that situation, within that learning situation, is a loving situation. So we just hold for each of those. We know that as we know there's a love within that situation, we know that they will find that situation, that love is unfolding for them in that situation, regardless of what it is. It is there, full of love, waiting to have the lid taken off of it and let that love flow out. And we just give great thanks that we know this, that this is how we live, and that this lives through us. This positivity is part of us. So if we have spoken these words of understanding and affirmation, and we just release this and we place it in the law of mind. We place it into Spirit because we know Spirit is on the job. Spirit has it handled. So we just breathe out now and we just release it, and we know it's no longer our concern because it is being handled. And so it is. So now we have another prayer in the form of song.
I like that a lot, prayer in the form of song. So this next song is by Jason Mraz, and it's another one about embracing every moment of life. And it's called Living in the Moment. If this life is one act, why do we lay all these traps? We put them right in our path when we just want to be free. I will not waste my days making up all kinds of ways to worry about all the things that will not happen to me. So I just let go of what I know I don't know, and I know I only do this by living in the moment, living my life easy and breezy, with peace in my mind, with peace in my heart, peace in my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home. I'm letting myself off the hook for things that I've done. I let my past go past, and now I'm having more fun. I'm letting go of the thoughts that do not make me strong, and I believe this way can feel the same for everyone. And if I fall asleep, I know you'll be the one who'll always remind me to live in the moment, living my life easy and breezy, with peace in my mind, with peace in my heart, peace in my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home. I can't walk through life facing backwards. I have tried more than once to make sure been searching for spun around and hurt no more. If this life is one act, why do we lay all these traps? We put them right in our path when we just want to be free. I will not waste my days making up all kinds of ways to worry about all the things that will not happen to me. Living in the moment.
Thank you very much. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home. I like that line. How cool is that? And follow your bliss. That's living life in the moment. All right, we now have a few announcements. As you know, we're doing a hybrid service. And if you want to come and meet in the church, make sure you are healthy and you wear a mask. And we will have Zoom church as well. Our prayer team remains ready to serve and support you. We have a submit a prayer request button on our webpage, or you may contact Martha Ward or Geneva Collins with your request. That information is also available on our website, www.wellspring.com. www.wellspringnow.com. Thank you. I'm sorry. Okay. Our prayer team meets virtually on Tuesday afternoons at 4:15 to pray with you. You may consider sitting quietly in your space during that time. That energy, knowing that we are one in spirit, and the energy of prayer knows no limits. The January speakers, next week, we're going to have an inspirational video by Admiral McCraven. I started the video this morning with a couple of church members in the office, and they wanted to hear more, and I said we'll have to wait till next week. All right. Wellspring's always been a tithing community, and 10% of what we receive goes directly to most local charities. During this time of virtual services, we thank you for your continuing spirit of giving. We ask that you mail your offerings to Wellspring Church, P.O. Box 1533, Las Cruces, New Mexico 88004, or you can use the donate button on our website to make a donation. We give great thanks for the offerings already given and those we will be receiving, because we know that giving and receiving are both part of the one flow. We bless these gifts and know that they are multiplied throughout our community. Early birds meet Sunday morning at 9:30 via Zoom. The link is in the weekly email and on the website. And I understand you had a really good early bird service this morning. All right. Upcoming, the annual membership meeting, February 14th, is going to be hosted by the Wellspring Board of Trustees. The topic is, what is Wellspring's new normal? In February, we also have upcoming board vacancies. Please consider running for a position, as the future of Wellspring is in your hands. It's in our hands. We need to know congregational input as well. So please attend on the 14th, even if you're on Zoom. February 28th is Arts, Poetry, and Music Sunday. Yahoo! So contact Dean Lively for further details, and there's further information on the website. There are also a number of folks who've contributed to the production of this service. We are grateful for their service, and we thank you for joining us today. And lastly, stay around in the Zoom meeting after service to visit and learn how to do flute fingerings, and all sorts of information will come forth. All right. If you're here in the sanctuary, please stand and read the benediction with me, followed by our congregational peace song. Spirit, in the midst of us is mighty. Joy, peace, and eternal life are our true nature and flow through us into the world, and so it is.